one of your episodes you talked about property managers being grumpy old cows, which I think is a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
Because they wear so many different hats and they're under so much pressure. If you could give some top tips to turn that perception around of property managers, what would that be?
So we're not considered as grumpy old cows anymore?
I think it's a little, yeah, so we're not considered as grumpy old cows.
Okay, so I guess what we're saying is how do we change the perception of our service delivery, interaction with clients and development of relationships. I'll probably give three top tips.
Yep.
And the first one is really going back to the basics and pretty much common sense, but we tend to forget about, and that is put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in the landlord's shoes of what if you were an investor, were financially stressed and had to meet a mortgage payment and the tenants were behind in their rent. See, I think as property managers, as much as we've got to take the personal out of it, we forget about the emotional side of our clients and customers, our tenants and landlords. Yeah. So I guess when we're talking about landlords and putting yourself in their shoes is the financial pressure, and they want their property well maintained. Probably a little bit of a wider scope with tenants in putting yourself in their shoes is understanding that for many of them, they're not just renting a property, it's their home. And a lot of my training and coaching, and I get feedback where they go, oh, well, a tenant rings us up one week and their tap washers are leaking, and then the next week the oven's not working, and then they're complaining about the dog barking next door. And from the perception of the property manager, all they hear is complaint, maintenance, I've got to action this, action that, and not put themselves in their shoes. Like imagine if you were the tenant and dripping taps were keeping you up all night, or you couldn't do your roast dinner on Sunday because your oven wasn't working, or the dog...
Traditionally, it doesn't rain, it pours though, too. Like, you have a tap washer that goes and you just get it fixed and you think, you beauty, and then the oven element dies in your properties and you think, oh no, I've got to call that property manager again.
Yeah, and I think the tenants, there's a lot of research and surveys being done at the moment where tenants are actually fearful to report maintenance to property managers. But I mean, ultimately my top three are put yourself in their shoes. Yep. How would you feel if you were that tenant or you were that landlord? The next one is, what was our question again?
What are your top tips for turning around the perception of property managers?
Perception. Okay. Yeah. I'm so glad I've got you next to me to remind me. At the end of the day, it always comes back to service.
Yep.
Always comes back to how you treat your tenants and landlords. Tenants are not second-class citizens. I think treat them with respect. Scripts and dialogues are really important because there's a lot of rookie property managers entering into the career path that it's quite confronting to have all of these complaints. And one of the coaching sessions, and it's one of my favourite ones, is how to deal with difficult clients. It comes down to relationship building at the end of the day, and having a client service strategy, going above and beyond. What's your extra 10%? Explore the possibilities of introducing a service guarantee to give more credibility when doing a listing presentation with a landlord. Once again, to summarise, I think it's put yourself in their shoes.
Yep.
Don't get caught up in the day-to-day process, but understand you're dealing with human emotions. Have a really good client service strategy, and work out how to wow them. What are the little things that you can do to stand out?
Yep.